For whatever reason, when it comes to the symlink command, I always struggle to remember the order of the arguments. Do I put the current file first and then the new file second, or the opposite? And maybe part of the reason for my confusion here is simply because in the man page, they refer to the second argument as the target file, which to me, in terms of a link, it almost sounds like that's the file I'm targeting or pointing at, when in fact it's the exact opposite. The source file is the file that you're pointing at. Anyways, long story short, after doing a little bit of thinking here, I came up with a clever way to remember this, a better mnemonic for me. And that is simply, instead of doing the link command here, instead think about using the copy command. So if I were to copy that file instead of symlink it, I put the current file first, then I have the new file second. So I'm copying the current file into a new file. So once I do that, then I can come over here and just swap out copy for ln-s, and I'm done. So when you go to make a link, think this is exactly the same as if I was copying the file. So if you use that mnemonic, then I think it can be helpful to create a symlink. And so let's do that here, actually. I'm going to show you a little directory structure I have here. So I have this common Python file here. I want to symlink it into this directory down here. And so if I go through the process here, basically, first up, if I use the copy command, go up a directory here to scripts, and then link into that common.py file. So I'm copying from there into the current directory, which means I can also use a dot here for the new file. I don't have to actually spell out common.py again. Now, come back over here. I can do an ln and a -s on the front here. Before I run this here, you can see the file doesn't exist. If I go ahead and run that then, list out the contents of this directory, you can see there is the common Python file. Good way to test this here is just to dump out the contents of the file. Make sure it's actually there. Looks good. And so in this case, you can see this correctly points up a directory, goes into scripts, auto launch west, and then common.py. So that's this file right here. So now maybe I want to link another file just to try this out here. Let's say I want to link in this tabs file. All right, well, in that case, pull back my link here, put in tabs, and maybe I want to rename it this time here. Well, that's the same thing as copying a file. I could just give it a new name here. And when I do that here, now you can see I've got the foo.py points at the tabs file. I can dump it out just to make sure I didn't make a mistake there. There you go. There's the file.